My name is Gard Jameson, and I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. And in an early age, my father married an American actress by the name of Eva Gabor from Hungary, and she is the sister of Zsa Gabor. And when he married her, I did the ceremony, and I shared words from the Urantia Book. And Eva is a very devout Catholic, but she came to appreciate the Urantia Book as a very inspiring text. And actually, her co-partner on her television show, Eddie Albert, was a devout reader of the Urantia Book. It was the most important book in his life. And he spoke often about how this book changed his life. And so I had the opportunity of dating his daughter for a moment, and he was a very interesting character. If you know the series Green Acres, it was all about farming, and he had corn stalks all the way to Sunset Boulevard. And it was a very unusual place to drive up to. But both of them appreciated it, and it was interesting. At one point, we had Oral Roberts who visited the house, Reverend Oral Roberts, and my father asked me to share with Reverend Oral Roberts about the Urantia Book. And realizing that Oral was probably pretty solid with his theology, I quickly changed the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And so, growing up in that household, it was a joy because my father himself, he said he appreciated the Urantia Book. In fact, he had read it over the weekend. And when I asked my father what the Urantia Book was about, he said, "Oh, it's about God." And so I realized that perhaps he hadn't read the whole text. In fact, when he was a child, the pastor of the Baptist church in Corona, California, said, "We have a miracle to the congregation," and my grandmother and great aunts were all there. And he said, "This little boy down the front, Frankie Jameson, has read the Bible in a weekend." And I just want everybody to know that this is a miracle, that a young boy like Frankie could read the Bible over a weekend. And he caught a little trouble at home after that.
But that's really interesting that they had you do their wedding ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that they really appreciated your spirituality.
Well, spirituality has been part of my fiber for a long time, and it's been an interesting journey. But the Urantia Book has been certainly the most formative influence in that.
Does anything come to mind about Eva or Eddie's, how maybe the Urantia Book influenced their lives or their development?
Well, I would say, the Gabor sisters were very interesting sisters. Some of them were much more materialistic in nature, and Eva was always kind and somewhat patient, but kind. And she was always regarded as the kind Gabor sister. So one likes to imagine that her spiritual perspective helped to influence that.
Mm.
She was always kind to me. She was always just a sweet and gentle soul. And when I was going through difficult times as a teenager, as we all do as teenagers, she was always there and listening in a way that even more than perhaps my mother was just a kind and gentle and listening soul.
Mm.
Yeah. So I remember her fondly.
Did you have a particular strategy when you introduced her, or did she just get interested because it was just around, or?
Just part of the family conversation.
Mm.
And everybody was aware that I was involved with this book, and some were a little indifferent, and some were more excited about it. So my brother, who was international president of YPO, it's his go-to book. And he shared the book with a number of people, including Fidel Castro. And Fidel one time was speaking about the universe, and my brother said, well, and it was like 2 a.m., they were all smoking cigars. And my brother said, did you know there are 7 universes? And Fidel nearly fell over in his chair. But I don't know whether or not he got the book. But the book is being spread. And in my work in interfaith, a lot of people in the interfaith world are very familiar with the Urantia book and very taken by the power of the text. Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever talk to the Dalai Lama about it?
No, I didn't talk to the Dalai Lama, but I did share it with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Maharishi, as you know, was a big influence on the Beatles and many people in the 70s, teaching them transcendental meditation. And my first contemplative practice was transcendental meditation. And so at a retreat in Humboldt, Humboldt College in Arcata, Northern California, many meditators, and I went up to the Maharishi and I said, "What about this book?" And he said something very interesting. He said, "The world is not ready for this book yet," suggesting that one, he was aware of the book, and two, that he was aware of the power of the book. And I think he's spot on. What he tried to do was introduce contemplative practice, which shifts consciousness, and without a shift in consciousness, it's very difficult to receive the book. So it's like the parable of the sower. He was creating good soil, and he continues to do so. So, yeah, so that was a very interesting encounter as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Gard.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.